feel those who are persecuted for Jesus Christ's sake. You are a good person. Seeing people talk about you in that way because of Christ.
During Ziaul Haq, there were a few laws which were made, which are in a way very prejudiced law, very discriminatory laws. And among these laws, there is one with regard to witnessing. There are two women equal to one man. So if in Islamic law, two mature, believing men are taken as witnesses, then it has to be four Muslim women, and it has to be for Christian or Hindu men, but there have to be 8 Christian women. So if there is an adultery case or rape, then a woman has to prove, if she wants to go to the court against the man who has raped her, then she has to collect all these witnesses. And from where would she collect? And if she failed to prove her case, that means the rape case will be turned into adultery case. So the victim may be also considered as a criminal and be punished.
The Catholic Bishops' National Council for Justice and Peace reports that approximately 30% of young Christians and Hindus suffer sexual harassment at work. According to some estimates, hundreds of young girls are kidnapped every year, forced to marry and convert to Islam. Shafila was 14 years old when her Muslim relatives kidnapped and raped her. She was held captive for several months and forced to convert to Islam. The kidnappers, however, eventually decided to return her for a ransom because of her poor health. The court case did not end up bringing the perpetrators to justice.
They hurt me a lot, beat me. They beat me hard. Kept me captive in one house, then another. When I refused to accept Islam, they beat me, saying, "Convert. We are Muslim. We must convert you to Islam." They hit me, took me to the mosque for lessons, drove to the mullah. They forced me to sign, to put my thumb fingerprint on many documents. Then, in my presence, my uncle phoned my parents and said, "Give us 500,000 rupees and we will return your daughter." They continuously tried to get me to marry, and when they failed, they brought me here and left me. When we go to court, we come alone, whilst they come in the company of many men. They are a threat, whilst we threaten no one. I want to be a Christian because of my father, my grandfather. So what would I do if I were to become a Muslim? All our family is Christian.
Not only does the law turn a blind eye towards kidnappings, rapes, forced marriages and conversions, but the violence lies also in the heart of the society, in the family, where acts of so-called honor killings take place. According to the Human Rights Commission of Pakistan in 2013, around 900 women were killed in Pakistan by their families in honor killings. If a girl marries a man of her own free will without the family's permission to wed, the belief is that in defense of their honor she must either be killed or at least vengeance achieved by the pouring of corrosive acid over her. At the end of May 2014, a 25-year-old pregnant woman was stoned to death by her father and brothers outside a court in Lahore for marrying a man of her own choice, what, according to her father, brought shame on the family.
I remember I was in Sindh. The girl was in 9th grade, and her aunt was a friend of mine. So uncle heard from somebody that she was pregnant. No evidence, no test, no nothing. She came back from school and he just called her into the room. They had only one room house, and he put kerosene oil on her and set her on fire. And when I went to the hospital, her flesh was hanging and I just fainted. I just could not see that. And that incident is so much alive with me. Very often, even in the middle of the night, I see that she's there hanging everywhere. The flesh is hanging, and even her teeth were burned. I did not know how to console her. She was a wound. Whole body was wound. So I wanted to put my hand just to say, I am with you. I just did not know where to put my hand. She died after 5 days, and 5 days of suffering and screams and pain and agony. I just cannot forget that. Nobody asked her whether she was pregnant. Uncle, because he's the male in the family, he had the right to do that.
A woman associated with Pakistan all over the world, who has become a symbol of oppression towards women and the fight for religious freedom, is Asia Bibi, a Christian, mother of 5 children, sentenced to death in 2009 and awaiting execution. What crime did she commit? Working in a field, she drank water from a well owned by a Muslim. Muslim women accused her of thereby contaminating the well. A discussion followed, during which Bibi is said to have stated, "Jesus gave his life for us. What did the Prophet Muhammad do for you?" Asia Bibi was accused of blasphemy and, because of crowd pressure, hastily sentenced to death. She has been imprisoned since then and is on death row, pending an appeal hearing before the Supreme Court.
If she is released, I don't think she could live in Pakistan. Any girl, or even men, if they are accused of blasphemy, they will be killed sooner or later. And the person who kills that person will go straight to heaven.